information sharing that you have been doing with all the students, as well as the kind of queries that has been coming in from parents, from students, we felt it will be good to organize an open house exclusively for students who have shown interest, have got some queries on the DSU School of Law programs. So here we are with a very, very extremely distinguished panel that is available today for discussions. We have the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Dayanand Sagar University and the brainchild behind the School of Law. And we also have Professor Nandimat, who's the mentor for Dayanand Sagar University School of Law. And I'm sure most of you are very well aware of the background of Professor Nandimat sir. So we are highly privileged to have him as the mentor at Dayanand Sagar University, as well as we would want to hear out the questions today from the students. And once the questions are posed across, either you can pose your questions directly in this, or you can put it in the Q&A. And Pallavi will be taking up the questions. Already Pallavi has received some questions. Pallavi is the program manager at Dayanand Sagar University School of Law. And she will be taking up these questions and putting it forward to the distinguished panelists. Before we start this session, I would like the distinguished panelists to say a few words, and then we will hand it over to Pallavi. Over to the Vice Chancellor, sir.
Thank you, Shinde. Good afternoon. Respected Professor Nandimat sir, Srinivas Shinde, Pallavi, and the students and the parents who have joined this info session or the panel discussion. As you're aware, Dayanand Sagar University is a university which has a legacy of about 6 decades. We started the education in the group in 1962, and it's close to about 60 years which we have been. One of these things that we have been trying to do in Dayanand Sagar University is to build a university of repute, which is multidisciplinary in nature, which will have the various schools of study, which will be interactive. Basically, this idea is to have that multidisciplinary thinking. We also have the School of Science, School of Engineering, School of Medicine, School of Law, then School of Management Studies, etc. Thereby, there is a possibility of using the principles of one in the other, mainly because of the fact that in future, the world is going to be multidisciplinary in nature. Because all these simple problems or simple things of uni structure have been solved. We have more or less resolved them. In future, they are multidimensional. They are going to be multidisciplinary. Therefore, the knowledge of more than one discipline is a need of the hour in the future. Coming to law, more or less, law is going to have the applications in all the domains and is also being considered as one of the most prestigious professions in any country, including India. The second, the opportunities for the future lawyers, the future legal professionals will be much higher than what we are seeing today. Therefore, the kind of education that's going to be offered in the future must have mainly 2 important components, apart from the expertise, apart from the knowledge in the domain. For example, School of Law will teach you the legal aspects, the legal components. Second, the School of Law also provides an opportunity for having multidisciplinary learning, where more than outside law, also few components are going to be brought in. The third component that's very much required in the future is the technology component. Therefore, technology is going to be used all over. Therefore, this particular law program will have the technology component embedded in the legal studies. How exactly the artificial intelligence, machine learning is going to be used, how the cloud computing services could be used. There are lots of technology, blockchain, and several others. The moment you have the knowledge of technology, knowledge of the other disciplines, and knowledge of the legal profession, I think will be the most sought after professionals in the future. This is the idea with which we are progressing as far as this School of Law is concerned. I'll stop here and I'll take a few questions over the period of time. I'll request Professor Nandimat to take over and tell us briefly with his long-standing experience. He is one of the accomplished persons in the legal studies. He has done a lot of work in multiple disciplines, and he would be able to tell us more about his insights about the future legal education. Over to you, Professor Nandimat, sir.
Sir, thank you very much, and good afternoon to all of you. I would like to, at this moment in time, very briefly speak about two aspects. One is how come I become the mentor of this particular school, and what is my interest as far as this particular school is concerned. Let me make it abundantly clear. Right now, I am serving as professor at National Law School of India, University, Bangalore, which is being considered as #1 law school as far as India or Indian legal education is concerned. When Dayanand Sagar University, especially Dr. Murthy, approached me, I was deeply impressed by their passion. Passion is nothing but to build a world-class institution over a period of time. And they said, sir, any sort of resources or any sort of facilities we can augment for that, we are willing to invest, we are willing to do it, but we require some kind of, let us say, intellectual assistance. Because I'm committed to National Law School of India University, and for other reasons, I could not have really moved myself into, the Dayanand Sagar University's law school. Then we worked out kind of a via media and said, look, I can be a mentor, provide as long as you aspire to build a world-class institution. That is how I got associated. One more strong reason why I got associated with the DSU is, I know Dr. Murthy through his work and the kind of, let us say, excellence he has brought in some of the institutions where he has worked, especially if you know PESIT as one of the global class institutions today. That is most of the credit should go to Dr. Murthy. So because of that, I also got sort of attracted to this particular role. Number two, I would rather add to what Murthy ji was painstakingly and beautifully explaining to all of you. My friends, a competent lawyer, according to me, should possess three very important qualities. The first quality is they should have a domain knowledge. Number two, they should have the requisite skill sets. And number three, they should have a ethical, what you call as values embedded in them. So the first one is domain knowledge, second one is requisite skill set, and third one is high ethical, what you call as values in them. I would specifically talk about the second one. Why I am talking? Because I wanted to hear and answer most of your queries rather than making it as a monologue. Domain knowledge, because today we live in an information world. If you are inclined, passionate, you can collect that information irrespective of any school which you got yourself affiliated with. That is why I would talk about the requisite skill sets. And according to me, skill is one where you convert your knowledge into action. Skill is that component which is in you, which helps you to convert the knowledge which you possess into action. And this is where I would say a law school should able to do. So any law school you join, you try to ensure that they are going to hone your skills. And believe me, when I was a student myself, when I became a young teacher at National Law School of India University and grown in ranks as far as NLSIU is concerned, I have seen the required skill sets for a lawyer are on increase. And two such very important skills, Dr. Murthy has already mentioned. One is today's lawyer has to be techno savvy. That is one of the very important. You see, knowing technology, understanding technology, using technology to solve your problems or to implement your skills, knowledge is very, 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 very essential. And that is going to be the game changer as far as legal services are concerned. So I would rather say, if you are considering, I would not say like a salesman, oh, this is the best school, you please join. If you are considering among your choices, Dayanand Sagar University's law school, please try to evaluate this law school with other law schools in your wish list and see whether they have that kind of an assurance to give that they are going to give you a requisite skills. The second one, Professor Murthy very briefly touched upon that. What we are planning is each one of the students, they would be divided in clusters depending upon their interest. And they are going to be mentored by some of the industry leaders. Say you are interested in, becoming a judge of the future. Then we would cluster you as a small group and you would be mentored by an industry leader. We are planning, we have already shortlisted number of judges who have retired from constitutional positions. And they are going to really interact with you all through your education. And they would see that you develop those requisite skills. If you wanted to be an in-house lawyer, you wanted to join a law firm, or you wanted to be an in-house lawyer in corporations, we have already identified industry leaders, those who are general counsels, in L&T, Tata Steel, etc. You are going to be mentored by them. This is going to be another very, very important USP as far as Dayanand Sagar Law School is concerned. Well, I can go on speaking like this because, we had, sleepless nights in designing or conceptualizing how we can develop or take a first baby step towards building a world-class institution. But I will not do that because we have very limited time at our disposal. And this is meant for you people to ask questions and get some kind of an answer and insight into, that before you make your choice. I would stop here, and I once again thank Dr. Murthy for inviting me and giving me this opportunity. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Pallavi, can we have the questions that have already come to us? You can probably put it one by one.
Yes, sir. So, sir, there are two students, Ms. Jagriti and Suyash. They have already filled up the form and they are aware of the DSU. So, they would like to ask a question from Nandimat sir, asking that what is the cutting specialization that we talk about? We have law and technology. So, if you allow, can I give an access to Ms. Jagriti and then pose that to Suyash?
Yeah.
Yes, Jagriti, you can speak now.
Hello.
Hi, Jagriti.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. So when you talk about interdisciplinary sciences, there are a lot of things that come to my mind. Like, first of all, I think the school is just starting out, right? So how do you guys plan on, making sure that the promises that you're making hold up?
So you're on mute, sir.
Jagrati, I would try to give you not a very discreet answer. Maybe I would try to speak my heart out. Even in the year 1986, National Law School also started. And at that time, I'm sure there were a number of Jagratis at that time who asked this question, look here, you people are starting. That also for the first time in India, 5-year law program. So why should I join? Why should I believe you? Or how you are going to promise me? But today, down the line, 36 years of NLS's history, if you see, our first 5 batches really stand out, and whatever kind of a laurel we have is because of our first 5 passing out the batches. This is where institutionally we invested and we grown with them. And number 2, let me tell you, if that is not a very clear-cut answer to you, Jagrati. Today, Dayanand Sagar University's law school may be young one, but it is under the pupillage of Dayanand Sagar University itself, who are in the space of education since last 6 decades. And interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary, they are probably better placed compared to that of standalone law schools, because they have a business school, they have other departments including technology school, etc. within their ambit. So when we designed our curriculum, we said, let the student be given some kind of an opportunity to tailor make his specialization himself. Rather than we offer him a straight jacketed specializations, a student should be able to curate. Okay, this is how I want to do. Because believe me, right now you are planning to become, planning to join a law school. As you progress into the law school, your taste will change. You start discovering yourself again. At that time, if you have some kind of an opportunity to choose the course of your choices, nothing like that. That kind of a flexibility, very consciously we have built into the curriculum itself. I hope that is an answer to your question.
Yes, sir, that's an answer. I totally agree with you.
If you have any tertiary part of the questions, you can ask. Before that, I would request Professor Murthy ji, you wanted to add something.
Yeah, I would like to add 1 or 2 points to what Nandimat was mentioning. The placement and the kind of opportunities mainly depend on the quality of work and the kind of projects that are being carried out by the student. Most importantly, we will ensure that the student is going to maintain a kind of workbook from 1st semester to 8th semester, 10 semesters. As you go along, few projects that are being carried out, few works that are being done, if they're documented, the moment you come to final year or pre-final year, if you go and make a presentation saying, this is exactly what I've done in last 4 years or 5 years, nobody would say no to such students, because those are the students who have maintained a record of the work that's been done. I think that's one system that we would like to follow in this law school, where there's a work profile that's been built by the students from the 1st semester to 8th semester. I think in my experience, the previous university, a similar kind of thing happened for one of the programs, which we started in 2015. It's nothing but design program. It was all the students were placed in first 2 weeks because the workbook was presented. We did take about 4 or 5 students, make the students to present their work. I think every company, they said, we would like to have these students because these students seem to know everything they have done. I think that's exactly what one method that we follow. The second thing that we also follow is to ensure that the exposure to various kinds of projects and problems are being given to students. The third thing, as Professor Nandimat rightly pointed out, if at all you are going to interact with the experts in the industry and the profession, you get a lot more inputs. At least you know the terminology compared to others. That's where the students of this law school will stand out in the market. I'm sure there will not be any problems of getting a placement, getting a better positioning, as long as we do things right from the day one. That's what my one or two points which I would like to add to what Nandimat was mentioned.
So we have another question here, which says, DSU has always mentioned that we offer technology empowered programs. What does that mean with respect to the School of Law?
Nandimat sir, you can start, then I'll add.
Okay. See, this is a very good question. I hope Murthy ji would started his answer. That is why I just paused a bit. I would say like this. Maybe it looks little complicated, but you being a brilliant questioner would understand. See, you look at your life today and try to find out one area of your life where technology has not crept in. Be it with regard to, your communication, be it with regard to your, way you deal with things, etc. Every aspect of your life is now interfered or, taken over by your so-called computers, machines, etc. Is it not? The very conversation is happening because of the assistance of technology. Now, I will tell you, by the time you pass out and enter the real world, maybe down the line 5 years or 6 years, my dear friend, I'll tell you, most of your repetitive, lawyering services or works would have been taken over by machines. We generally say a pod would be doing the job what a yesteryear's lawyer would be doing. But who is going to build that kind of a technology? It is not, believe me, it is not a software engineer or, technical graduates would do it, because they require insights of law to build that kind of a, software or that kind of programs. And where from that kind of material would come? It would necessarily come from lawyers. And this is what DSU is trying to, do it. Because we had, believe me, we had good amount of discussion. And it took a lot of time for us to realize what every single law school which is, coming up is doing is they are trying to ape national law schools, saying that, okay, this is what national law school is doing. We will also repeat the same thing. But for the first time you would see, there is a school which is saying, why we need to simply, emulate national law school? Why can't we create a separate space for ourselves? We play for our strengths. This is where the technology inputs come in. And I would request Murthy sir probably to, pitch in his ideas now.
Yeah, I completely agree with Professor Nandimat. I would like to add one or two points of mine. The first point I would like to add is, as of now, if you just look at the scenario as of now, we have experts in law who has no background in technology, who has no background in using the new age facilities. Therefore, they have to depend on somebody else. Quite often what happens is, what is required by the professional is not being understood by the persons who are going to provide the facility. Or what is understood by the facilities person is not the one which the professional is looking for. If at all the professional, legal professional also have the background in technology, they would be able to do the things much faster than what it is. That's the point number one. Point number two, in future, the facilities of the technology would be much more costlier than what we are thinking today, because every facility is going to cost in the future. Therefore, it's better if the professional also have the background of technology to you, the technology could be the AI, artificial intelligence. It's going to innovate into every aspect of life. Maybe machine learning, maybe augmented reality, virtual reality, maybe cloud computing services. The other one is analytics. Probably analytics is something which is going to be very, very important for legal professionals going forward. They can come out with statistics and argue a case much more differently what's being talked about today. I think the future, whatever is going to be done, a technology component cannot be missed. I'm sure the relevant technologies are going to be taught. For example, database, how do you store the details of a particular case? How do you retrieve it? And ensure that there's ease of use and efficient way of doing things. That's exactly what is the kind of thing that's going to happen in the future. Therefore, here, the relevant technologies, even if you take the simple method of searching for some data, as of now, we use our normal methods of searching for a data. There is a technique in which you can get your search much faster and much more efficient. There's a method. I think that method is going to be taught. It's not simple Googling saying that I want this. It may not give you the right kind of thing. Probably there's a kind of method to be used. There's a technique that's being used for getting the data, the technique to get the analytics. Therefore, I'm sure over a period of 4 to 5 years, we will ensure that the relevant technology components are being taught through hands-on approach, not the normal approach. Hands-on approach is basically you are being given the theory, the knowledge of using it, and also try out a few simple projects or simple things to ensure that you have understood the technology component, the usage of technology component quite well. You will be using the technology at the user level rather than the development level. Therefore, I'm sure you stand to benefit by knowing the technology in the future. That's the idea with which this entire program is being said. Technology component is going to be part of the legal study. That's exactly what we are going to do for everywhere in all programs of study in Dayananda Sagar University. Hands-on approach is one thing which you would like to take. That has made the students understand things much better than the normal. This the 2 points I would like to add to what Mr. Nandimat mentioned.
Right, sir. Over to Pallavi. Pallavi, you could put the next person.
So we have another student, Mr. Suyash. His question is related to the judiciary with some of the specialization. So Suyash, over to you. We are giving you the access for that.
Good evening,
Hello?
sir.
Yes, Suyash, go ahead.
All right. Am I audible?
Yes, Suyash.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir. I had 2 questions. The first one was answered mainly by Ms. Jagriti's question, the apprehensions, so to speak. The second one was more related to my future, because the way I see it, the judiciary has seen in recent years a disconnect from what is happening on the local level. And the technology aspect has made it very visible and very accessible to the common man. So I would like to know, the first part is the technology, how will we be able to integrate it in our curriculum? And second part is, how will I make it clear to my own self, for my own benefit, which specialization should I choose? Because the flexibility of a course by in itself brings a boon that we'll be able to customize it, but it also brings in the confusion that how exactly am I supposed to know what is good for me?
May I take that question, Shindeji?
Yes, sir. Please, sir.
See, the first part of your question, my friend, is already been answered, but I will only repeat it. Saying that one is you are manufacturing the technology for the future.
Right.
You are getting my point. Somebody has built
Yes, sir.
an engine called Google so that everybody is using it, is it not?
Yes, sir.
So the architect of that particular engine has to have lot of technological knowledge as well as common sense. on which he is trying to build that kind of a engine or machine, is it not?
Yes, sir.
See, we see globally, it is not just in India, believe me you, technology is going to bring revolutionary change as far as your so-called legal services are offered. Because once you become a professional of tomorrow, you will offer yourself to provide legal services, is it not? Those who want
Yes,
it.
Yes,
So, you know, as a manufacturer of that kind of a system, you are uniquely qualified, probably better qualified compared to anywhere else, because of this blended teaching or blended learning to which you get exposed at DSU. There's one part, like, you know, manufacturer of technology.
Yes, sir.
The second one is consumer of technology. I'll give a very simple example. If you compare me with that of some of my senior, mentors. Senior mentors means I had a lot of teachers who held my hand during my initial stages of teaching career, and they taught me how to teach, how to be an effective communicator, how I should prepare for my classes. All this, I was actually, mentored. Today, if you compare, them with me, I am much slightly smarter because my ability to understand technology and use technology to do my work is much, greater. So, if technological inputs are actually interwoven into your course and are given, I will tell you, my dear friend, your ability to use technology to deliver effectively are multifold, better, right?
Yes, sir.
Like, I will just give you one concrete example because I don't know whether it will become a tough example for you. The difference between, an experienced lawyer who is in demand like Harish Salve and a young lawyer like you, whenever you enter the profession, is Harish Salve's understanding of law. You might have studied some 60 laws in your course, but he has probably come across 600 laws. That is in his brain, is it not?
Yes, sir.
So his ability to reproduce those provisions or recollect it from his memory in the court of law keeps him in the edge.
Yes, sir.
But how you can really develop that kind of an acumen? Maybe you need not today have to spend so much of time like Harish Salve for 3 decades or 4 decades before you become one more Harish Salve. You can reduce that time by using technology. There are a lot of databases. How effectively you use those databases, you can start at your fingertips pulling down the relevant law provisions and things like that.
Yes.
I hope you are getting my point. See, it is not just a fancy coinage. It is not just a fancy coinage wherein we are saying, oh, it is a tech law school. People think, what is a smart school, classroom? I was in Karnataka Knowledge Commission. At that time, we coined this particular word. All our, higher education institutions should have a smart classroom. People mistook smart classroom means there should be one overhead projector and linked to a computer. That is not smart. You require to enhance or augment that ability of both teacher and student to use technology to traction his understanding. I hope I have made myself clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Tripathi, your second part of the question, I would very quickly answer.
Yes, sir.
You say, sir, you are giving me the choice. It looks very great. But I would be confused is your apprehension, is it not?
Yes, sir.
Look, one of the important things that happens invariably, you can join any new program. I'm not talking today only about DSU. You join any school which is aspiring to build a world class or become world class. They try to nurture all of you like their own kids. Because the DSU's future depends upon your success. If you become successful, DSU will become successful. Otherwise, it will not.
Yes, sir.
So believe me, although we give a lot of, freedom to you, we also give you a lot of inputs. With those inputs, you can able to, curate your own program, curriculum. So it is not like we give you complete freedom and it is like throwing you into the waters. No, we will handhold you. We will give you guidance. But at the end of the day, it is going to be informed choice you are going to make.
Thank
Is
you,
that
sir.
answer?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, I would like to add one or two points with what Professor Nandimat mentioned. One is the usage of technology is going to give us three important benefits. Of course, there are many, but three are very important. That's what being considered. One is the ease, the user friendliness with which we can get the information fast. That's number one. Second is faster. As Sir rightly pointed out, it's possible for you to get every data in few minutes so that you have all the data at your disposal. The third one is the cost. The pricing is another thing which is being looked. The technology helps in ease of use, cost, and time. This is the exactly thing that's going to happen. The second thing is when you join a program of study at the first year level, obviously we may not have any kind of idea with regard to specialization, with regard to the field of expertise, specialization, etc. What normally happens is when you move from first year to second year, or first semester to second semester, second to third semester, the clarity starts emerging because there'll be enough mentors to tell you, you seem to be good at this. This is the kind of career that you can move forward. This seems to be the right kind of profession for you. This kind should be the right direction. I'm sure based on the progress that you're going to make from first semester to second to third, the clarity starts coming. Then you try to venture, start getting a specialization that based on your passion, based on your talent, based on your performance. I think all the three will get together, help you to become an expert in one particular specialization where you have a lot of passion. Thereby, the efficiency with which you are going to understand things, the efficiency with which you're going to get the expertise is going to be that much better. The mentors, as there'll be two mentors, one is a faculty mentor, and also there'll be experts from the industry and other professions to help you out. They tell you, yes, you seem to be good. You seem to be good in this. Sometimes it may so happen that in the first semester, second semester, you seem to be good in 2 or 3 areas. When you come to third semester, probably you maybe seem to be good in only 2, but the other one is a kind of thing. When you go to 5th and 6th semester, you seem to have a lot more achievements or accomplishments or interest in a particular area. That's how it happens. Because most of us have got into professions which we are in now based on that kind of expertise where our teachers, our friends, our advisors to get into. That's how it normally happens. At this point of time, we are going to have an open mind, start a program or join a program with an open mind without any conceived ideas with regard to expectations that you're going to get. If at all you have in the beginning, fantastic. Otherwise, it's going to evolve in the next in the course of study. That's what I would like to add to what Professor Nandimat mentioned.
Thank you, sir.
Over to you, Pallavi.
Thank you, sir. I think we have answered all the questions of the students and have guided them to take a better decision in the future. So anything else, students? Okay. Thank you, sir.
There was one which had come through the WhatsApp. What
Yes, sir.
makes DSU School of Law unique? That was the question. What makes DSU School of Law unique? It has come in the WhatsApp group.
Nandimat sir, would you like
What
to-
makes DSU School of Law unique?
See, rather than claiming ourselves to be unique, I would rather say, because this is a human language, when he says unique, how you are different. That is what painstakingly we explained so far. both in terms of content offering as well as methodology of learning. We are trying to not imitate anybody, especially these NLUs. We are trying to build upon our own strengths. According to me, this is a very, very, sort of a unique USP, Shinde-san. The second one is the kind of technological expertise what they are going to really get here in a blended model of learning is probably first in India and unique in India. And it is not there which easily they are going to get anywhere. And the third one, the industry mentoring, what the kind of network which we are trying to build today, that the students are going to be broken, or students are going to be divided into smaller clusters of not more than 10 students, and they being mentored right from their second year onwards till they graduate by industry leaders, depending upon their flair, is something very, very unique. And believe me, even if you can go and ask, find it out for yourself, no law school is doing. These are, according to me, are three very important USPs. More than calling unique, we are trying to boldly experiment with these three.
Yeah, I would like to add one or two points to what Professor Nandimat mentioned. I think the uniqueness comes from several things, as Professor Nandimat rightly pointed out. One is the curriculum design itself, where it should have provisions for some of the experiments that we can try out. For example, the technology component, which we normally call as special topics or some kind of technology components. Second is the teaching learning. Teaching learning, as being understood, learning is going to happen in 4 different modes. So what it appears has been the kind of saying in ancient Indian education. The first is 25% of learning happens when a student attends a classroom. Classroom, they get about 25% learning. 25% of learning happens through discussions, either with the peers or with the teachers. The next 25% learning happens by practice. Next 25% learning happens in the discussions, by doing self-study, discussions, and this one. Therefore, the DSU School of Law would encourage all these kinds of modes. That's the point number 1, which I would like to indicate. The other thing is with regard to assessment. Teaching, learning, and learning is one, then the assessment. Assessment is not going to be the kind of assessment being done elsewhere. We would like to have assessments to ensure that a new age legal professional needs to have lots of skills. The most sought after skills of the future is communication. Communication, creativity, collaboration, and critical thinking. These are the 4 skills which are going to be critical for a new age professional in the future, not only law, for everybody else. Communication. How do you get communication? Communication, there must be an opportunity to be given to the student to improve the communication. One is through seminars, maybe a poster presentation where the student made to speak, made to make a presentation. There must be communication, written communication that's going to happen when a student writes a reflection notes of a lecture that's being delivered by an expert. Let's say I'm going to invite an expert for delivering a lecture. Then I would ask the student to write the reflection notes. I think the communication is going to improve. Creativity. Creativity is basically looking at how a student is going to design a poster on a given topic. Let's say I'm going to allocate some marks to a student to have a creative presentation on a particular topic. I'm sure the creative component is going to stand out. The color combination, the fonts that are being used, the animations that are being used, the pictures that are put out, and obviously lots of other things are going to be taken into consideration. Critical thinking. Critical thinking is basically we are going to giving a small problem, a small incident that would have happened in the which is reported in a newspaper or someplace, saying that this is a case. Let's debate on it. What is your view? What is your point of take on this? I think that is going to improve the critical thinking. Looking at a particular aspect from multiple viewpoints, which we normally call as 360-degree view graph. Look at the same thing from multiple angles, interpreting in different ways. The last one is collaboration. Can we put 2-3 students together to do a particular project, to do a particular study, to do something, to report? Can you prepare a small summary on that? I think each of these components are going to be built in the assessment things, where a student at the end of the first semester, let's say, would have gone through some of these components where the ability or the skill sets of the students keep improving from semester 1 to 2, 2 to 3. The ability, the variety with which the student is going to do things is far different from any of the other things. I think this is the other thing where you see some kind of, I should say, uniqueness, some kind of positioning, which is different from most of the other things. It's not exactly 3-hour examination and 2 tests kind of thing. It's more than that. More than that. I think we would like to bring in this creative component, this new ways of doing things, so that the student engagement or student involvement is going to be much higher. In other words, to put it in one word, we would like to encourage active learning rather than passive learning. Active learning is basically we need to engage the students, keep them academically busy, give them lots of options. And obviously, if let's say in a class of 60 students, if 12 projects are being done, if all the 12 groups come and make a presentation, student would be exposed to about 12 different aspects or 12 different problems. I think that's the kind of exposure that's going to come in. Instead of studying everything by himself, herself to the 12 project, if 60 people are put together, you see a lot more learning that's going to happen. I'm sure some of these things will make the learning that much different, learning that much unique compared to the other kinds of things. That's what I would like to add to what Professor Nandimat mentioned.
Right, sir. Pallavi, anything else? Or are we through with this?
Yes, sir. Done, sir.
Are we done?
Yes.
Right, sir. So we see no other questions coming in, even in the chat box. So let me take this opportunity of thanking the distinguished speakers, Professor Nandimat sir, and the Honorable Vice Chancellor sir, Dr. K.N.V. Murthy sir, and Pallavi for organizing and being available to solve the queries that came in the open house. We look forward to students. There is an email being sent across to all of you with the latest offer that has come from the university. It has been shared with all of you. Please do have a look at those emails. And I'm sure you must have got your scores, whether it's your CLAT score or the LSAT score. In case if you haven't taken up any examinations, we would invite you to write the DS LAT scores, the examinations. And we look forward to having you into the DSU family. All the best to you, and thank you so much to the panelists. We look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Professor Nandimat, sir, thank you.
Thank you, Nandimat,
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And all the best to all our student friends.
With you.
Sir, it is my privilege. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.